Okay, we're back, and let's take a look at where we are. So let's hit the play from beginning video, play button, and our text comes in, and that's as far as we got. We've got the fade in and the filter on that. So let's move that block of text now. So I want that block of text to slide up into the corner. I want it to start right about here. So let's bring up our project window so we can see our layers. And okay, so I can select at this point, I can select any one of these text objects and move that around if I need to. But what I want to do is I want to be able to move this as a group. And I want to just move these, okay? Notice our grouping over here. So we have one group here. Our original Photoshop document is all in a group, and then our text is grouped with the filters. So what I want to do is make another group. Okay, so I'm going to select my texts. Together, right click and say group. So let's put that down. Let's double click that and name it text. Okay. And now if you look over here, our group now has a bounding box on it, and it can be selected and moved all at once. Alright, so if I want to move this, I need to put a keyframe here. But if I hit the record button and then drag this, it'll move, but it'll start moving from all the way back here. So I need to add a keyframe here where I want it to start moving. So I'm going to make sure I have my text selected, go over to the inspector, look at my properties. Notice under transform, I have position. So I need to insert a keyframe there. And the easiest way to do that is to click on my keyframe indicator. And if I click there, and I can add keyframe, and that's going to put a keyframe where I need it, right here. So now I'm going to hit the record button. I'm going to drag my playhead over to the right. I'm going to come up. I need this to shrink as well, so I'll shrink it first by grabbing the corner like that, and then I'm going to move it by grabbing grabbing inside the bounding box and dragging it. Now you'll notice this red line here. That is my motion indicator. Okay, so it's going to move from here to here, here to here. So let's hit the stop. We'll stop that from recording, and now we can kind of look and watch it move. Okay, so you notice it doesn't move until I want it to, but I didn't put a keyframe. I didn't put a keyframe in for scale, which is right there. All right. What I'm going to do in order to fix that is bring up my motion window, make sure my text is selected, click on the keyframe editor. Let's select scale from the drop down menu, and there is our scale. So I can come in here, select all those keyframes and delete. Excuse me. I'm going to hide the timing pane. Now, if I move this, notice it doesn't scale anymore. I've taken those keyframes away. So let's come back to frame 101, which is where I put the, it's close to where I put the keyframe in. There it is, 100. Let's add a keyframe for scale as well. There we go. Now let's move, let's hit the record button, move over to the right, and let's scale that down. Alright, now let's see how that looks. There we go. Okay, so we need another move now. We want to move that cat in. After this guy scales down, let's move the cat in. So let's select Kitty. Let's drag him into the frame and look at him, because if you'll notice on the original video he was facing the other way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this edge here and just drag it the other way, and that's going to effectively rotate that. I'm going to flip it over horizontally. So I'm going to scale him down and look at him, make sure he fits where I want him to fit. And let's go over here and look at our properties over here. So one thing I thought was kind of nice on the original was the drop shadow. So if you look down here, these are some of the things you can do with this object. So if I come into drop shadow, select that, and you can see now we have a bit of a shadow around here. So I'm going to make that distance a little bit farther, dragging that up. Notice that shadow there now, and I'm going to change the angle on that. So it is kind of lit the way his face is lit. Okay. So I've got that taken care of. Let's drag him outside the frame again. Now I'm at where I want him to start coming in. He's scaled the size I want him to be. Now I need to insert a position keyframe once again, right here. Have a keyframe. Click the record button. Let's move over about to there. I'm kind of being approximate with my my times here, so we'll look at how we can kind of change that later. Okay, so I have my motion there. Let me unclick that. Now he's going to slide in from the side, but on the original video I had him kind of arcing in. Okay, so one of the interesting things about motion is that you can change how this the shape of this line here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click in the middle of that line, and it adds another point along the line. And if I grab that point and drag it up into the left, you'll notice it turns from a straight line into an arc. And I can adjust that arc in all sorts of different ways. We'll get to these handles later. Right now I just want a nice kind of smooth arc. So let's play through here. Cat comes in, boom, nice arc. All right. Now our next step is to add a little bit of text from InMotion. Um, so I'm going to come up here into my project window. I'm going to click the little plus button here, make a new group, and I'm going to grab the text tool from the toolbar. I'm just going to come down, click inside my window, and type out my word. Alright, so that's not quite the size I want it. I'm going to click back onto my pointer tool. You know, notice screencast is selected now. I can come over here to my inspector, and now I have another tab. It's a text tab, and that's going to give us text specific things. So I can adjust the size here, or I could adjust it over here, but let's just keep it. Well, it looks about right. Now I want to rotate this as well. You'll notice I can grab these handles at the corners and the sides and change this, and I think we might actually want to stretch this up a little bit. There we go. Over here in the corner, however, if I grab this one right here, it allows me to rotate around that point, and that's perfect for what we want to do. So I'm going to rotate it at an angle and then come down and drag it down onto the at an angle. It's great design, right? Alright, and now if you look in our timing window, I had the playhead where I wanted the text to come in. And when I added that, it automatically set that at that point. Now I could go back and adjust that, but that's actually what we want. We want that text to pop in right there and stay till the end of the video. So now I have a few more details to add to the text. I have it selected here. I'm going to come up to add filter and add, trying to remember which one I had on there. Let's try Aura. Well, that's kind of interesting. Let's see if we can't adjust that. I got to come back over here to my properties. Now that Aura is selected there, and let's adjust the brightness down a little bit. There we go. That looks pretty good. Alright, now if I wanted to mix the in and out right there, let's find one that looks about right, and that looks kind of nice. One more thing, and you'll get into this more later, but let's look at it already now. So let's come up here to our library. And notice we haven't gone in here much, but if we come in and look under behaviors, which is right here. This is going to give us some complex behaviors we can add to objects. And, there's certain ones for text. Now, you know, I encourage you to look through here and click on something, and up here in the preview window to give you an idea of what that does. This little gear just represents any sort of object. If we come to text, one thing that allows us to do is this type on behavior. So I'm going to grab that and come and drag it on top of the screencast. Notice it disappeared. So let's look at our timing window. Here's our aura filter and our type on behavior. So let's play through this and see how it looks. Check the timing on that. All right, pretty good, but that aura, the type on behavior ends right at the end of the clip, and I want that to happen a little faster. So the easiest way to deal with that, now I could come here, select, and go into my inspector and adjust that there maybe, but in this case, we want to just come down to the end in the timing window. We just want to drag that to the right. Okay, notice the type on behavior is shorter there. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Let's hide that timing pane so we can see what we're doing. And play from the beginning. Pretty nice. Now I might adjust that timing just a little bit, but I think for now this is good. Okay, we got one more element to look for, and that is our sound. I have it here on the desktop. I made this in another program, and it's just about the right length, so it's already ready to go. So I'm just going to drag that into my properties. Just let that mix to stereo. And you'll notice it should show up under the audio tab. So I wasn't paying attention. Happens. Notice where it set on the timing window. So I need to grab that file and I need to move it all the way back so that it matches the beginning of my clip. And that should do it. Let's play through and you should be able to hear that. Alright, it's a little quick. I'm going to move it to the right just a little bit. A little bit more. Nope, too far. And there we go. All right. So one thing I haven't talked about is sort of saving your project. Okay, so I need to come up here to save. And I'm going to click save. Now, this is very important for working in the lab here. Okay. I brought in external media. It's going to exist outside the object. I want to collect that into my new folder. So I will go over this in class, how we set up the project at the beginning or in another screencast. So make sure you follow that procedure strictly for working in the lab, or it's not going to work real well. So I'm going to copy that over. It's going to save. Let's hide motion. In our project folder, this is how you want yours to look. Okay, you should have a folder, you should have a motion project file, and you should have a media folder inside that folder. Okay, and that's going to have any media that you dragged into that project. This is the folder you want to back up. Now you've put this in Workspace if you've set your project up correctly. Remember, Workspace is not secure. This is what you want to drag over onto your into our class folder. That's a good place to keep it. And onto your flash drive. Alright, so there's the tutorial about getting started in Motion. Remember, this was just an example. Your piece does not need to be as kind of goofy an introduction as mine. So, but all these things are applicable to what you guys are doing. Alright, good luck.